So we're going to be diving into lesson 2. We are looking at page 128. I'll go ahead and pause and give you a second to get to it. Make sure that your notes have this part up here written in all caps. I'll pause the video and give you time to do that as well if you need to pause it. Other than that, let's go ahead and get started. Spain, France, and England had different approaches to colonizing North America. Each nation's monarchy hoped that the North American colonies would bring wealth and greater global power. The three major empires employed different economic and governmental systems. The colonies of New Spain and New France appointed governors who reported back to the controlling government in Europe and carried out the king's and queen's orders. The English colony at Jamestown, on the other hand, was governed in its early years by a group of people who were elected to represent each settlement in the colony. The three nations competed for land and trade. Spain and France also sought to convert native peoples to Catholicism, the primary religion in those countries. So here is the highlighted notes. So each color is going to be a different line in your notes, right? Notice how the green, I skipped some words. You don't have to copy the words. You need to copy everything that's highlighted, and each color is a new line. But it's not a new paragraph, so no spaces until we get to the next paragraph. Go ahead and pause this video and copy those notes down. Spain established territories in South America, the Caribbean, Central America, and Mexico, as well as the southern and western parts of North America. Spanish settlers quickly learned to use the resources of their new colony to increase the wealth of Spain. The Spanish did not want land in the Americas to be taken by the French or the English. So to further expand, Spanish rulers offered large portions of land to those willing to move to New Spain. These areas, called encomiendas, included any Native American villages on the land. The Native Americans living in an encomienda were forced to work for its owner in exchange for housing and food. So here we have all of the notes that we're going to take. Remember, we're starting a new paragraph, so you need to skip a line in your notes. And then each color is a different line, a different bullet point. So go ahead and pause the video and get caught up, and we'll move on and then continue the video when you're ready. While the early English relationship with the Powhatan and the Jamestown colony involved some instances of cooperation, Spain's relationship with the Native Americans was based on conquest. The Spanish also wanted to convert all native peoples to Catholicism. So go ahead and start a new, skip a line, start a new bullet point, get that in there, and we'll move on. New Spain's wealth and power came in part from its gold and silver mines. Spanish settlers also built ranches and sugarcane plantations. Many of the workers in the mines and on the plantations were Native Americans. Disease, mistreatment, and dangerous working conditions resulted in the deaths of about 24 million Native Americans in just 100 years. To replace the shrinking workforce, the Spanish brought enslaved Africans to New Spain. By 1570, more than 200,000 Africans were enslaved on the plantations of New Spain. So there are the notes you're going to take. Go ahead and pause the video and get those copied down and move on when you're ready to go. One Spanish colonist named Bartolomé de las Casas was so upset at how colonists were treating the native people that he decided to help them. He became a missionary, or a person who teaches his or her religious beliefs to help with different beliefs. So there are your notes. We got a red note and a blue note. Go ahead and pause the video and get those done. And we'll move on. Eventually, more missionaries from Spain came to the Americas to teach the native peoples about Catholicism. Although the missionaries believed they were doing good, they forced the native peoples to work and give up their own religion. These native peoples and Spanish missionaries lived in settlements called missions. As Spain began claiming the West Coast, these missions became part of their strategy to prevent Russia and England from settling land in present-day California. So over here we see a map of the different spots. So this red part is British, right? We see up here, there's our key. The French lands are right up here in the green, and the Spanish area is all this stuff down here. So Spain had a lot of stuff. France had a lot of stuff. But the Americas were not as big at the beginning. So moving on. So we have a new heading. So we got to start a new thing in our books, go ahead and write this in all caps, all uppercase. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video. Let's go ahead and get started. When French settlers began to colonize North America, they were interested in finding gold and a route to Asia. Their settlements along the St. Lawrence River in Canada would not help them with either of those goals. What Canada did offer was many fur-bearing animals. The forests of Europe had been overhunted, but Europeans still desired hats made from beaver fur. To meet European demand, French settlers began to export beaver pelts across the Atlantic. The money raised through the fur trade helped pay for more expeditions into North America. So the French were initially looking for gold and a way to get to Asia, but what they ended up finding was a way to make money off of the fur trade. So there's your notes right there from the video. All right, go ahead, pause the video and take those notes, and then when you're ready, you can move on. Let's go on to the next paragraph. As French explorers continued to explore Canada, the King of France wanted to organize the colony to ensure it made money. He chose Samuel de Champlain to lead New France. In 1604, Champlain sailed to New France as its first governor. Champlain's strategy in North America differed greatly from that of the Spanish conquistadors. He felt that building friendly relationships with groups of Native Americans would lead to successful trade. He believed these alliances would allow him to travel freely and keep the French settlements safe from attack. Within his first year in New France, Champlain learned to speak the Huron language. New France and the nearby Huron and Algonquin groups traded with each other and maintained friendly relations. So this is different from Spain. How is the way France doing working with the natives different than the way that Spain? Pause the video and talk with your partner. How is France's approach with Native Americans different than Spain? Go ahead and talk. So there are our notes right here. Each color is a different line. Remember, some of these are skipping some words. You'll need to write down what's highlighted. Go ahead and get those notes copied down and then move on. So here we're making a new part in our notes. We're going to write Marquette and Joliet. I'll give you pause the video to fill that out and press play when you're ready to move on. French explorers' efforts to find the Northwest Passage led them to further explore North America's waterways. In 1673, Jacques Marquette and Louis Joliet headed south in a canoe on the Mississippi River, a river unfamiliar to them. They encountered many groups of Native Americans living on the banks of the Mississippi. While some Native Americans resisted when the colonists settled on their lands, the Illinois and other groups helped Marquette and Joliet. There's your notes. Go ahead and pause the video and copy those. And then when you're ready, you can start the video again, and we'll move on. Marquette and Joliet claimed the land drained by the Mississippi River for France. Marquette later set up a mission in present-day Illinois, and Joliet continued to explore North America. Very cool stuff. So now we're going to talk about LaSalle, Louisiana, and this is a new section in notes, so you need to stop and put this in caps on your notes. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and continue. In 1682, René Robert Cavelier, Sieur de La Salle, led an expedition down the Mississippi River. La Salle claimed the Mississippi and its tributaries, or smaller branching rivers and streams, for France. He named the region Louisiana after the French king Louis XIV. La Salle wanted to build a fort at the mouth of the Mississippi and attack the Spanish in northern Mexico. La Salle and several hundred settlers, however, got lost and ended up in present-day Texas. By 1687, only 36 of La Salle's settlers remained alive. So here are the notes you're going to take. Each color is a different line. You can pause the video to take those notes and then get back to it. So we're starting a new section. We need to put a new title in our notes. And we'll go ahead and start when you're ready. French colonists slowly began to settle parts of the Louisiana Territory. They built forts in strategic locations to protect new settlements from the Spanish and English. Louis XIV instructed a Canadian naval officer, Pierre Le Moyne Sieur de d'Iberville, to build forts at the mouth of the Mississippi. The series of forts he built in present-day Mississippi in Louisiana further established Louisiana as a French possession. One such fort, Fort La Boulaye, lay just south of the future site of the city of New Orleans. When Iberville died of yellow fever, his younger brother, Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne, Sieur de Bienville, continued his work. So here are your notes. Go ahead and copy these down. And then we are all done for the day. I hope you enjoyed this, and do whatever Mr. Cooper has for you to do up on the board when you're finished.